everybody, it's Tony George along with Sean Salisbury. We are talking Saturday NBA playoff basketball. Be sure and check out my buddy Sean over at iHeartRadio and on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. And Sean, coming to us from Phoenix, you're down there in playoff fever country right now with the Suns, but we're going to switch gears to the West Coast. Further west than where you're at and where I'm at. And we're talking about Dallas, one of your home state teams, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers here. The total is 218.5, and the line is 5, opened up around 6.5. It's still at 5.5 out here at Wynn in Las Vegas, but 5 everywhere else. So you're seeing early sharp money come in on the Mavericks, Sean, and they have Porzingis back. They have a healthy Doncic. They have a healthy team. I'm a little concerned about how long they've played together and developing some chemistry on the offensive side of the ball. And on the other side of the ball, I think the Clippers go as Leonard and George go here. This is an interesting game to open up the series. And in my opinion, like we talked about the other day, 4, 5, or 6 points in the NBA playoffs is a ton of points.
No question, whether you're at home or on the road. Tony, I thought that the Clippers at the beginning of the season, I think I had them as the 1 or 2 seed going into the season. But as with the Clippers and the Lakers, teams with a lot of veterans, the worst word in the NBA is called load management, or the 2 words, should I say, worst phrase is load management. Both of these teams will live by that, but when the playoffs kick in, they're different. Now, you've got 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the world in Paul George and in Kawhi Leonard. You've got one of the best scorers and all-around players in the NBA in Luka Doncic. You get Porzingis back. I do love your thought process on chemistry, everybody on the floor, how long does it take to click in. That's why the number at 218 has me concerned, and I'm leaning under because guys ramp it up in the postseason. And I would expect Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to exert a lot of energy on the defensive end. They're at home. This 5, like I said, and you mentioned opening at 6.5. I'm thinking that's a big number, and then you get it down to in the 5 to 5.5 range. But opening playoff game, people finding their way. Maybe so I'm more apt to take the under with a 218, but I still think the Mavericks can go in and keep it close because you looked at the play-in game, Golden State and the Lakers. Who took over, Tony?
Yeah.
Second half, LeBron James, fourth quarter. Steph Curry, the entire game for Golden State. Anthony Davis, second half after a slow start in the first half. Draymond Green defending out of his mind. They just turned it over too much. The 3 big stars did what? Reared their head. Draymond Green elevated on the defensive end. So I think the big boys, this is why they do it. I think Luka Doncic will answer. I do think it'll be a low-scoring game and sluggish because I think that the Clippers can defend. I think Dallas gets inside that number. Clippers are going to win a game and just a buddy at the bar talking. But I think the Dallas Mavericks keep it closer. And I think this thing leans on the under because of the perimeter defense that the Clippers are capable of playing.
Let me run a statement by you, and I want to get your reaction to that statement. If Paul George doesn't have at least 26 points, Dallas covers easily. Your thoughts on that statement?
Amen. If Paul George, I think he gave himself the nickname, or somebody did call it, I don't know if it was him or somebody else, Playoff P. Well, Playoff P, Paul better show up for the postseason because, listen, there's no arguing that the guy's a hell of a talent. He's long. He can score. Now, I'll tell you this. If Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both have 30 points or more, now we're looking at a possible they may run him out of Staples Center gym. But I would agree if Paul's in the low 20s or the teens, think under, think Dallas Mavericks not only get inside the number, but this may come down to a buzzer beater type game, which you saw with the Lakers and Golden State. So I am with you 100%. I actually think the Clippers' hopes are on Paul George because I know what Kawhi Leonard's going to give me. I just know what he's going to give me. I don't know what Paul George is going to give me game to game. You're 100% correct. If that's low scoring on that, the game ends up low scoring. They'll defend some. But Paul George, I think, is the key to the Clippers' success because I already know what I'm going to get out of Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, it's just like Portland. You know what you're going to get out of Lillard every game. What's McCollum going to do? What's Nurkic going to do?
Right.
It's the same. You know what Jokic's going to do for Denver. What the Greek Freak's going to do for Milwaukee tomorrow. What's everybody else going to do?
That's
That's
right.
key in this scenario here. The one thing I will put out this game, I like the first half line in this game, and I like Dallas in the first half line. It's going to be around +3 because Dallas is a fast starting team. And the Clippers are not a first half team. They're a second half team. As a matter of fact, folks, the last 5 games played, when you look at the offensive averages in first half point production, Dallas 64, the Clippers 57. I like Dallas in the first half to come in here and establish themselves. I think Porzingis is going to cause a lot of problems in the paint for the Clippers. This is when they're going to miss Williams when they trade it away. This is when they're going to miss Doc Rivers and his in-game adjustments during the game. I think a halftime adjustment by Tyronn Lue probably will do some good here with this team. But I like Dallas in the first half to come out there and give them all they want. And I think the Clippers can bring up the back end later in the game here. But I think it's going to be, as a matter of fact, I think besides Portland and Denver, I think this is probably going to be one of the best games of the day tomorrow, Sean.
Yeah, and maybe one of the better series too, because they're pretty evenly matched where they're seated, obviously. Stars galore that we'll go find out because we're waiting for Dallas to be fully healthy and mature as they go on. You feel like they're building something, and it all starts with Luka, and he's got to have a great series for them to win. He's got to have a great tournament all the way through for them to advance. And I think they can. He's a different cat, but I agree with you. Not only a one-gamer, but this could be one hell of a series throughout.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens to the LA Clippers here. 2 things different from years past here, especially recent history. You don't have Doc Rivers, the head coach, and I keep bringing that up. You also traded away a lot of depth on your bench that you had before. So we're going to see what they're made of here. And we're going to see how the bench scoring lays out these first couple of games. But I'm with Sean. I'm not willing to lay 5 with them right now. And I do like the first half line on Dallas, and Sean likes them for the game. Get over to DocSports.com. This weekend, we got NHL playoffs. We got NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball. We got the PGA Championship going on. It's one of those weekends you do not get off the couch and you tell your wife to do all the honey-do list herself. For Sean Salisbury, I'm Tony George. Thanks for tuning in. Best of luck this weekend.